When words leave you, you can't buy them back. They are gone. And sometimes they can produce more disaster than you planned for. Let's learn from Chica and be wise.
In Aquulu Valley, the winds were more than a natural force. They were the valley's lifeblood, carrying the whispers of ancestors, memories of old lovers, and even warnings of doom. These winds, playful yet foreboding, danced through the emerald hills and silver streams, binding the villagers with an unseen thread of destiny. It was in this mystical valley, under the shadow of the ancient baobab tree known as Ulo Madu, the House of Souls, that the tale of Ndidi and Chica began. Ndidi and Chica were inseparable from childhood, their friendship as natural as the streams that cut through the valley. Ndidi, the thinker, found beauty in the quiet moments, solving problems and offering wisdom beyond her years. Chica, by contrast, was bold, with a charm that could turn even the sourest disposition into laughter. Together, they complemented one another, their bond unshakable, or so it seemed. Under the mighty baobab, the girls spent countless hours weaving dreams as intricately as they braided each other's hair. Villagers often said that Ulo Mamadu absorbed the essence of those who lingered beneath its branches, and perhaps it had claimed a piece of the girls' friendship, leaving it vulnerable to the winds of ambition and envy. The day had been uneventful, marked only by the usual rhythm of village life. Women balanced baskets of produce on their heads, men repaired fishing nets, and children chased one another under the watchful eye of the baobab tree. Yet the winds that evening carried an unusual chill, a whisper that sent a ripple of unease through the valley. Ndidi and Chica sat beneath the baobab, their usual sanctuary, weaving intricate stories of what their futures might hold. But even their shared laughter couldn't drown out the subtle tension in the air. "Do you hear that?" Chica asked suddenly, tilting her head as if straining to catch a faint sound. Hear what Ndidi replied, her brows furrowing. Chica hesitated, her eyes scanning the horizon. "The winds. They're restless tonight. My grandmother used to say it meant the spirits were uneasy." Ndidi shrugged, attempting to brush off the comment. Maybe it's just the weather. But deep down, she felt it too, a sense that something unseen was stirring. That night, the village gathered for a storytelling session around a crackling fire. The storyteller, an elderly man named Okonkwo, leaned forward, his face illuminated by the dancing flames. "Tonight," he began, his voice low and deliberate, "I will tell you of the Ocha Ikenga." Ndidi and Chica exchanged a glance, intrigued. It was rare for Okonkwo to speak of legends shrouded in mystery. "The Ocha Ikenga," he continued, "is no ordinary plant. It is a gift from the gods, hidden deep within a grove guarded by spirits. It grants unimaginable blessings, but only to those pure of heart. To others, it brings ruin." The crowd leaned in, spellbound. "There was once a man who sought it," Okonkwo said, his voice darkening. "He was consumed by greed, believing it would make him invincible. He found the grove but defied the spirit's warnings. When he plucked the sacred plant, the earth itself turned against him. He vanished, his name wiped from memory, and the winds howled for 3 days and nights. The flames flickered violently as if in agreement, and a gust of wind swept through the gathering, extinguishing the fire. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the night plunged into darkness. "The spirits are listening," Okonkwo whispered. "Beware their wrath." The next morning, Chica seemed distracted. As the two friends walked along the forest path collecting firewood, she paused suddenly. "What's wrong?" Ndidi asked, noticing Chica's unease. "I don't know," Chica murmured. "I had a dream last night." Ndidi raised an eyebrow. "Another one of your dreams." Chica's dreams were infamous among the villagers for their uncanny accuracy. Some dismissed them as coincidence, but others whispered that she had inherited her grandmother's gift of foresight. "In the dream," Chica continued, "I was standing in a grove. The air was heavy, and everything was bathed in silver light. I saw the Ocha Ikenga, but when I reached for it, the ground opened beneath me. I heard voices, angry, accusing." Ndidi shivered despite the warmth of the morning sun. "It's just a dream," she said, more to convince herself than Chica. But as they walked back to the village, the wind seemed to echo Chica's words, their whispers growing louder and more insistent. It was only that evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the valley in shades of amber and violet, that Chica could no longer hold back. They sat beneath the baobab tree, their usual meeting place, the day's tension hanging thick between them. "Ndidi," Chica began, her voice trembling, "I have something to tell you." Ndidi turned to her friend, concern flickering in her eyes. "What is it?" Chica hesitated, then pulled a weathered parchment from her satchel. The edges were frayed, and the markings on it were faded but still discernible. "My grandmother gave this to me before she died," Chica said, her voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. "It's a map. To the grove of Ocha Ikenga." Ndidi's eyes widened in shock. "The sacred plant. The one from Okonkwo's story." Chica nodded, her face alight with hope and fear. "It can cure any disease, bring fortune, and grant wisdom, but it must never be misused." Ndidi reached for the map, her hands trembling as they traced the lines. A strange mixture of awe and unease welled up inside her. "Why are you showing me this?" she asked, her voice hushed. "Because you're the only one I trust," Chica said, placing her hand over Ndidi's. Her sincerity was disarming, cutting through the doubts that had been brewing in Ndidi's mind. Chica was weak in emotions. She was unstable, not knowing how to set boundaries within friends and family matters, to avoid competition and for her personal safety. But the knowledge of the Ocha Ikenga was intoxicating, a seed of temptation that began to grow in Ndidi's heart. The winds, ever watchful, whispered once more, their tone more urgent than ever, and still, the warnings went unheeded. Before Nana set foot in Ekwulu Valley, life was already beginning to shift for Chica. The secret of the Ocha Ikenga, once a sacred bond between her and Ndidi, had become a weight she could no longer carry. Whispers had spread like wildfire since Ndidi's careless mention at the market. Traders, herbalists, and opportunists began flocking to the valley, hoping to unearth the mythical plant. Chica's family bore the brunt of the fallout. Their farmland, which bordered the rumored location of the grove, became a battleground for trespassers. Crops were trampled, livestock stolen, and peace replaced with tension. "You brought this upon us," Chica's mother accused one evening, her voice heavy with disappointment. "Your grandmother entrusted you with something sacred, and you've let it slip away." Chica's protests fell on deaf ears. The winds, which once whispered comfort and wisdom, now seemed to carry judgment. Even the baobab tree, her sanctuary, felt like it stood in silent reproach. Amid this chaos, Nana arrived. His entrance was like the first rain after a drought, full of promise. He spoke of unity, progress, and prosperity for the valley, weaving visions of a brighter future. Villagers, weary of the disruptions caused by the Ocha Ikenga rumors, clung to his words. Chica, despite her inner turmoil, found herself drawn to him. His charm was undeniable, but it was his apparent sincerity that captivated her. She began attending his gatherings, her presence a quiet yet commanding force. Nana noticed. "You see the world differently," he told her one evening as they walked along the riverbank. "Your perspective could help shape a better future for this valley." For the first time in weeks, Chica felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, through Nana's vision, she could atone for her mistake. But Ndidi saw something else entirely. Watching from the shadows, her envy took root. How could Chica, the one who had betrayed her own family and the village, now find favor with someone as promising as Nana? As Nana and Chica grew closer, rumors swirled. Some whispered that Chica was using her connection to the sacred plant to manipulate him, others that she sought power through him. These accusations, though unfounded, began to tarnish her family's already fragile reputation. Chica, overwhelmed, tried to distance herself from Nana, but he was persistent. "You're not responsible for the gossip," he assured her. "Let's prove them wrong by building something meaningful." She was too overjoyed and overexcited that she went and told Ndidi about this affair, making her know that it would be a serious union. Ndidi smiled deceitfully as if she was happy. But deep down, she was already thinking of 100 ways to set a stumbling block between them. She was too jealous and doesn't want to be left alone unmarried, not knowing the fate of her own future. Ndidi was like, "Oh, so I would now be left alone while Chica is taken to the city." "No, I would not make that happen," she concluded. Blinded by jealousy, Ndidi sought out Nwanyi Ogwu, the feared enchantress who lived on the edge of the valley. The old woman's hut was a dark, foreboding place, filled with strange herbs and animal bones. "I want her gone," Ndidi demanded, her voice trembling with anger. Nwanyi Ogwu's piercing eyes bore into her. "Jealousy is a fire that consumes its bearer first," she warned. "Are you willing to pay the price?" "I'll pay anything," Ndidi replied. The old woman concocted a potion, her incantations filling the air with an eerie hum. "This will sever the bond between them," she said, handing Ndidi a vial. "But destiny is not so easily altered. What you take may not be yours for long." The spell worked. Nana's affection for Chica cooled, his thoughts inexplicably drawn to Ndidi. Chica, feeling the shift, withdrew entirely, her heart heavy with loss. But the consequences were swift and cruel. Nana, haunted by vivid dreams of Chica in the grove of Ocha Ikenga, grew restless. His speeches faltered, his vision clouded. The villagers began to lose faith in him. Sensing his distraction, Chica, devastated by the turn of events, returned to the baobab tree. Kneeling beneath its ancient branches, she poured out her sorrow, asking the spirits for guidance. The winds, which had been harsh and accusatory, softened. Carrying whispers of hope days later, Chica began rebuilding her life. She focused on helping her family restore their land and worked quietly to dispel the rumors that had plagued them. Her resilience earned the respect of the villagers, even as she kept her distance from Nana. Meanwhile, Ndidi reveled in her apparent victory. With Inanna's attention now on her, she felt vindicated, but her triumph was short-lived. The enchantress's warning came true. Ndidi began to lose herself. Her voice, once her pride, faded until she could barely speak. Nana, confused by his own feelings and haunted by dreams of Chica, began to pull away. His admiration for Ndidi turned into pity, and eventually, indifference. One fateful night, Ndidi, driven by desperation, confronted Nwanyi Ogwu once more. "Undo the spell," she begged, her whispers barely audible. The enchantress shook her head. "The winds cannot be reversed. What you sought to destroy has only destroyed you." Chica and Nana's paths crossed one final time at the grove of Ocha Ikenga. Drawn by his dreams, Nana sought her out, confessing his regrets and asking for forgiveness. Chica, though hesitant, forgave him. Together, they planted a new sapling of Ocha Ikenga in the valley, a symbol of healing and renewal. Ndidi, watching from afar, tried to intervene, but in her desperation, she stumbled and fell at the roots of the baobab tree. The spirits, weary of her defiance, claimed her life, her body cradled by the ancient roots. And this is how Chica and Nana reunited together to build a very strong and lovely family, and restored Chica's family heritage. This folktale teaches us that 1. Jealousy is a destructive force. Coveting what others have only leads to ruin. 2. Secrets carry weight. Knowledge is a burden that must be handled with care and responsibility. Thanks for watching this video. If you have gained 1 or 2 things from this story, do well to share your lessons in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thanks. See you again.